So I'm happy to chat about anything you would like to talk about too.
Yeah. So I listened to your album too, which is called Chasing Rabbits.
Yeah, yeah.
I listened it last night, but I went on YouTube to listen, and I wanted to ask you what. Oh, sorry, I didn't get my phone.
Someone else wants to ask you questions too.
Maybe. No, I wanted to ask you what was your influences because you talked about the 70s music, and
Mm,
I wanted to ask you what was your influences, what singer do you listen to make
mhm.
your music?
Sure. Well, where I grew up is in the country, and I was surrounded by country music. My granddad plays excellent country guitar, lead guitar. He's a wonderful guitar player, but I did not like country music growing up. So growing up at the same time you did through the grunge phase, I also listened to Nirvana and those bands. But what I always loved, there was a collection of records that my aunt had left behind in my grandparents' house. And my grandparents' house is where the guitars and the piano were. So I spent all my time in the basement at my grandparents' house. And I listened to these records, and they were Elton John and a band called Supertramp and the Carpenters. I love Karen Carpenter's voice very much. And uh, that music, that early 70s music, Jackson Brown is another songwriter, and the Beatles too. I definitely had space for the Beatles music. But that is the music that I loved more so than the folk singer songwriter. I liked that 70s band sound. So that is in part where some of the music from Chasing Rabbits comes from. Some of it, when you hear that piano, drums, bass, bit of electric guitar, and harmonies stacked on top of each other, that's kind of that Elton John studio situation, I think. But the songs, probably at their core, a lot of them are folk songs. So I have friends here who have a band called the Bombadils. And it's a husband and wife together, and they play guitar and mandolin and fiddle, more traditional folk kind of sound.
Because
Um,
where do you live exactly?
Sure, I'm in Nova Scotia, so on the east coast of Canada,
Okay.
right on the edge of the Atlantic Ocean. So we just have a lot of water between us, you and I. But here in Nova Scotia, our folk tradition borrows a lot from, Celtic and Gaelic traditions, a lot of fiddle, guitar, string instruments, not so much piano, drums, bass, that kind of thing.
Mm.
So in some of the songs, there's a song called Lunenburg Moon that to me is a very Nova Scotian song. It's a waltz, fiddle, guitars, uh, folky sounding. So I guess like when I listen to your record and hear those influences creep into your music, probably some of my own creep in as well. That 70s studio albums, but then the Nova Scotian with the fiddle and strings that comes through a bit as well. Mhm.
How with have you got gigs to come this summer in Canada?
We'll see. So I had planned out, not knowing what would happen. I had put together a band, many of the people who play on the album, to put together a tribute show to music that came out in 1971, which is a lot of the music that I love. And oh gosh, I could list off all of the the names, but so much music came out in that one year and is now turning 50 years old. It's the golden anniversary. So I'm hopeful that we will get to play those shows. We'll see. We had to cancel the first one so far, because we're in lockdown right now in Nova Scotia.
I wanted to ask you if you know about Johnny Mitchell.
Right. I do. Her name comes up a lot in conversations with me, and her album Blue is one of those records that came out in 1971. So I have been learning some of her songs. She's certainly one of the most famous Canadian singer-songwriters that we have. And yeah, people ask me that question. So I take it you're familiar as well.
Yeah, because when I heard your music, I think about Johnny Mitchell a little bit. You know,
Right.
woman, and so the first thing I thought it was she's a little bit like a hippie, like Johnny Mitchell.
Well, we do have some things in common. I know she is a big fan of alternate tunings on the
Yes.
guitar, retuning the guitar. She's very brave about that.
And
And
you do
often
alternative tuning too?
somewhat, yeah, I enjoy. This is very beat up guitar, very battered. It is from 1970s, Suzuki. My granddad bought it from a car salesman for I think $30. And someone at some point stripped all the finish off it and tried to refinish it, so it looks very strange. And it doesn't sound terrific, but it feels right to me, and it is always the guitar that I will pick up if I am at home wanting to write a song. But it's a nylon string classical guitar, and I will explain why it has this strap on it. It's because I took it to a funeral service, a graveside funeral service, to play a song for the service, and realized I had no strap on the guitar. So I found this ribbon tied to a Christmas gift in the funeral home, and that has been the strap on the guitar for now 4 years. So this is my favorite guitar. I would never take it with me anywhere because I'm worried someday it's just going to fall apart because it's very old and fragile. But this is my favorite one that I pick up and play around the house all the time. Sure. I have one thing that I would like us to do together.
Yep.
So I had asked you to bring something with you to the meeting. Did you bring it? Okay. So you have a paper.
Yep.
You have a marker. Great. So the only rule, Brieg, is that you can't look down at your paper as you are drawing. So we're going to draw a portrait of each other.
Okay.
I will draw you, you'll draw me, but you can't look at what you're drawing. Nope. We just look at each other. Yeah. Yep. Okay. So are you ready?
Yeah. Let's
okay.
Go.
All right. No peeking. We draw.
It's impossible.
Okay, almost done?
Oh, yes, we said yes.
Great. Okay, ready? Then we will show our pictures. Ready? Yeah.
That's funny. It's funny.
Perfect. Perfect. Beautiful. Thank you. Now we have a souvenir.
Yeah. Okay.
Of our time together.
Okay. Cool.
Thank you so much, Brieg.
Thank you, Terra.
It is a joy to meet you and listen to your music, and I am excited to share it with the people I know and introduce you to them too. So maybe we will get to play a song together at some point. I would love that. So
Maybe.
anyhow, thank you for taking this time. I hope you have a great Friday evening where you are with your family. Okay,
Thank you.
much
Thank
love to
you so
you.
much. Bye.
Thanks. Bye-bye.